So our mini lesson for today is going to be dealing with acid-base balance in the body. The three things that we will be discussing is pH, PaCO2, and HCO3. PaCO2 is your carbon dioxide, which is dealing with exchange in the lungs, and your bicarb will be excreted or retained in the kidneys. As you can see, our normal values for pH would be 7.35 to 7.45. Your PaCO2, which is your carbon dioxide, will be 35 to 45, but when you are determining acid base, you flip the values, so it will be 45 to 35. And then your HCO3, which is your bicarb, will be 22 to 26. Anything on the left side, the left-sided values and below, which is your 7.35, your 45, and your 22 will be labeled as acidic. Anything above the right-sided values, which is your 7.45, 35, and 26 will be labeled as alkalytic. With that being said, our body system regulates its balance by chemical buffers, the buffer system, respiratory system, dealing with the lungs, and metabolic system, dealing with the kidneys. Step one of knowing how to determine your acid-base balance is knowing the pH. Once you know the pH of whether it is acidic or alkalytic or normal, which the range is falling between 7.35 and 7.45, you can determine what your blood pH is. Now, step two of determining our acid-base balance, when we're talking CO2, it can become a little tricky because remember our values are flipped. So in order to evaluate CO2, you have to know you're going from 45 to 35. So if your CO2 is decreased, meaning below 35, you will be in respiratory alkalosis because CO2, we're dealing with the lungs. But if it is greater than 45 on the opposite end, that is when you're in acidosis. Final step when determining your acid-base balance is determining what the bicarb levels are. Remember, your normal value is 22 to 26. So if your values are elevated, meaning above 26, you are in metabolic alkalosis. If your bicarb levels are decreased, meaning 22 and below, then you are in metabolic acidosis. So another tip, taking it a step further, if you're past fundamentals, you start looking for compensation amongst these values. If the body is fully compensating, that means your pH is normal. That means your body is trying to do something and keeping the balance in your body. If the pH is abnormal, it is partial compensation. And if one system is abnormal, meaning the PaCO2, and the other one, which is the bicarb, is normal, that means that your body is not compensating for the imbalance that is occurring.